Tallstar's Revenge, Chapter 6. Teeth grabbed Tallpaw's scruff and hugged him with a jerk. He gasped as he felt himself swing out into open air. Twisting, his hind paws scrambled across stones for a moment before Dawnstripe whisked him backward onto the grass and dropped him. "Watch where you're going," she spat, her eyes wide with horror. Tallpaw stared at his mentor in confusion. Then his gaze slid past her to where the grass ended abruptly. There was a narrow strip of rock before the ground fell away in a sheer, jagged drop. Repaw stared wide-eyed at him wide-eyed. "You nearly fell into the gorge." Larksplash stopped beside her apprentice. "We haven't lost a paw in the gorge in a while." Her eyes sparked. "This is serious," Dawnstripe snapped at her clanmate. "I know," Larksplash meowed softly, "but I think Tallpaw's scared enough." Tallpaw's heart pounded so loudly he could hardly hear what the other cats were saying. Trembling, he peered over the edge of the cliff. At the bottom, the water roared, churning between the sheer rocks like angry storm clouds. It looked like a huge claw had sliced a channel through the moor. Was this where sandgrass was tunneling? "Stay away from the edge," Dawnstripe warned. "When it rains, the grass gets slippery." Tallbow backed away, his heart still thumping. Repaw nudged his shoulder gently. Their nose. "I should have warned you," she whispered. "I forgot you've never seen the gorge before." A different bark sounded from somewhere downriver, beyond the end of the gorge. Tallpaw's pelt twitched. "Is that a dog?" Repaw pricked her ears. "Don't worry, it's in RiverClan's territory, so it's not our problem." "Come on," Larksplash nodded to her apprentice. Let's go check the border. If that dog has already been anywhere near, Tallstar will want to know." Repaw stretched and tasted the air. "It's with a two-leg." "It'll be a daft one, then." Larksplash headed away from the grass and following the line of the gorge as it sloped down toward the forest. Who'd want to hang out with a dog? Nasty, slobbery things. "Two legs are all daft," Repaw called, chasing after her. Tallpaw turned to Dawnstripe as the pair disappeared down the slope. "Are there many dogs on the moor?" Dawnstripe gazed at the heather. "They come with two legs, just one or two at a time." "Do they ever come near the hollow?" Tallpaw had only seen sheep stray so close to camp. "They don't get a chance. They make so much noise we always have time to send a patrol to steer them away." Dawnstripe didn't sound concerned. "Their teeth are no match for a warrior's claws." She pointed at her nose along the gorge. Do you see where the tunnel turns flat and marshy?" Tallpaw squinted as the sun flashed from between clouds. Farther along the edge of the moor, the river emerged from the gorge and grew fat and sluggish beside low-lying meadows. "That's RiverClan territory," Dawnstripe nodded to the forest as on the opposite side of the silent river. "And the ThunderClan sleeps and hunts among those trees." Tallpaw wondered what it must be like to live hidden from the sky. Didn't ThunderClan long to feel the sun on their pelts or the wind in their ears? Had they had more in common with tunnelers than moor runners? They had more in common with tunnelers than moor runners. Dawnstripe headed away from the gorge and crossed the slope. Following a ridge earth topped with heather, it curved like an endless tail, wrapping protectively around the moor. Tallpaw's legs were aching by the time they halted to a steep descent. The smooth grass swept down into a line of dense trees. "That's the way to Four Trees," Dawnstripe told him. Tallpaw stared at the canopy of green leaves trembling in the breeze. "Where's the great rock?" He peered through the branches, trying to glimpse the huge rock he'd heard his clanmates say about when they returned from gatherings. Dawnstripe flicked her tail. "It's hidden at the moment, but you'll see it soon enough." Tallpaw's heart leaped. He'd forgotten he'd be allowed to attend gatherings now that he was an apprentice. Paws pricking with excitement, he trotted after Dawnstripe as she continued around the edge of the moor. "That's Shadow Clan territory," she told him as he fell in beside her. Tallpaw followed her gaze up the swathe of pines that had been taken over from brighter green trees of ThunderClan's territories. A bare, great stripe divided pines from the rest of the forest, cutting a path like a river across the landscape. A faint roar touched Tallpaw's ears, and he watched as tiny shapes moved along the strip, flashing like drops of water in the sunshine. "Is that Thunderpath?" "Yes," Dawnstripe murmured over his shoulder. "You'll learn how to cross it when you go to the high stones." Tallpaw's fur pricked. Dawnstripe was talking about his visit to the Moonstone where cats shared tongues with StarClan. For a moment his head spun with excitement, and he had to stop until the ground felt steady beneath his paws again. Ahead of them, the grass sloped more steeply and before long they were trickling through deep grass once more. "This is the high moor," Dawnstripe explained. "We're heading to the very edge of clan territory." "The edge of clan territory?" Tallpaw paused and reared onto his hind legs, trying to catch a glimpse. But the edge of the earth they had been walking on had given way to a rutted sheep trail, and grass blocked his view. "You'll see soon enough." Dawnstripe veered onto a rabbit trail roofed by heather friends. Tallpaw ducked after, his pelt pricking uneasily as the heather closed around him. The air was stuffy and still. Imagine how much worse a tunnel would be. Tallpaw took a breath and focused on Dawnstripe's golden tail as it bounced in front of him. Suddenly, he felt wind on his whiskers, and heather opened into a grassy hilltop. Tallpaw blinked with his eyes as short-winded dappled grass rolled in front of him. He could breathe again. The grass sloped down to Thunderpath, pale and flat, and their torn paths, roaring louder than wind, striking the ground. The grass sloped down to the Thunderpath, pale and flat, and striking against the soft landscape. It was closer here, and Tallpaw flinched as a monster tore past, roaring louder than the wind. Beyond the Thunderpath, squares of grass marked out by thin rows of bushes surrounded clusters of dark gray two-leg nests, and farther, still tall cliffs marked the beginning of a range of ragged peaks. "Is that high stones?" Tallpaw whispered, his gaze distant on the horizon. "High stones are the cliffs," Dawnstripe stood beside him, her ears stiff against the streaming wind. "You'll travel there one day when you visit Moonstone and back. And when you visit Moonstone and touch the Moonstone. You'll travel there one day when you visit Mothermouth and touch the Moonstone." Tallpaw shivered as the wind lifted his fur. Every Wind Clan apprentice shared tongues with StarClan before they the Moonstone before they received their warrior name. He shifted his paws, trying to ignore his stinging pads. The long walk around Wind Clan's territory had left them tender and graced. "How would he ever make it to High Stones?" "Look out!" a voice echoed from behind the heather. "Mudhole!" There was an alarm in the mew. Tallpaw whipped around and scanned the heather. What was that? Dawnstripe padded toward a rabbit hole that was half hidden between the roots of a bush. The tunneling patrol's down there," she explained. Another voice echoed from the darkness. "Let's shore it up with rocks. Our ship is come back at the double fort. Fetch some before there's a slide." Tallpaw crept forward, sniffing. He smelled Plumeclaw's scent and hickory nose. "Do you think they need help?" he asked wearily. "Didn't want to creep down there into the earth." "They know what they're doing," Dawnstripe told him. They won't want us getting in the way." She headed toward away from the rabbit hole. Tallpaw hurried after her. Aren't we going back? Suddenly the tunnels were part of... Surely the tunnels were part of Wind Clan's territory. Clanmates might be in trouble. I'm a Moor runner. I don't go underground. Dawnstripe shook her pelt as though she were shaking out soil. One of the tunnelers will take you down there during your training and teach you the basics of hunting and patrolling down there. Tallpaw tried to ignore the tightening in his chest. I will be able to breathe underground. I will. Instead he gazed toward the distant horizon, relishing the wind that lifted his breath. He lifted his chin. If Shrewpaw, Reepaw, Stevepaw, and Doughpaw can survive basic tunnel training, so can I. As Dawnstripe headed through a grass patch, Tallpaw raced to catch up. He was relieved to feel the ground smooth underneath paw, well trod by sheep. His paws burned with every step, and he winced as he hopped over a lump of dirt berries. Where are we going now? Camp. Tallstripe glanced at him. You must be tired. No, I could stay out for days. No, Tallpaw lied. I could stay out for days. A purr rumbled in Dawnstripe's throat. Do you like what you saw? Tallpaw nodded enthusiastically. I didn't imagine Wind Clan territory was so huge. We guard the edge of the world, Dawnstripe told him. The other cats sit cozy in their marshes and woods, fed by river and sheltered by our moor. They never know the true taste of the wind and the fresh scent of first snow. There's no clan cat faster or more nimble than a Wind Clan cat. She glanced at Tallpaw's long black tail. You'll have good balance, and it won't be before long you can outpace a rabbit, even on rough ground. I was named for my tail. Tallpaw puffed out his chest and remembered what Sandgrass had told Heatherstowe that it was a tunneler's tail and would make him easy to drag from a cave-in. Relief flooded Tallpaw's pelt. He'd never have to face a cave-in now that he was going to be a Moor runner. Then he pictured Sandgrass's dark eyes dark with disappointment. Guilt formed a lump in his throat as the grass opened onto Heather, and Tallpaw glimpsed the hollow cradling the camp. He broke into a run, overtaking Dawnstripe and racing for the entrance. His paws skidded on the grass as he swung around and ducked through the gap in the heather to burst to the clearing beyond. Barkpaw called from outside the medicine den. You're back! He raced across the tusks and skidded to a hole in front of Tallpaw. What did you see? Tallpaw winced as the sharp tang of herbs wafting from his friend. Everything. 4 trees, Thunderpath territory, and River Clan, and the Shadow Clan. And the high stones. It poked suddenly. And the gorge. Reepaw said you nearly fell into it. Reepaw rubbed green sap from his nose. Is Reepaw back already? Tallpaw scanned the camp and spotted her sharing prey with Shrewpaw and Steegepaw outside the apprentice's den. She had feathers in her whiskers. She and Wee Larksplash cut a grass. Barkpaw told him. Tallpaw could smell its scent wafting across the gate. His belly rumbled. Do you want to share a mouse? Barkpaw glanced at the medicine den. I'll have to check with Hawkheart. I'll fetch one from the prey heap. Tallpaw headed across the grass. His paw stung and almost tripped. Is it okay? Are you okay, Barkpaw darted in front of him. Is it a thorn? My paws are sore from walking. Tallpaw lifted a forepaw and sniffed it gingerly. There was a French scent of blood. Barkpaw leaned closer. It's just a bit grazy, told him. Mine were the same after Hawkheart took me out herb gathering for the first time. Your pads will toughen up. Are you checking for sores, Wormpaw? Shrewpaw was marching toward them, puffing feathers from his muzzle. Stop calling me that, Tallpaw glared at him. Heather Star made me a Mormon, remember? A real Mormon looked so tired, Truepaw snorted. You're born to be a tunneler. Stick the digging in one pot and leave the more running to cats with tougher pads. Well, that's the end of Tallstar's Revenge, Chapter 5. I have been Chapter 6. I have been Music 23. It is a snow day, which means another chapter will be uploaded today. So I hope you're enjoying the story so far. I probably won't be able to upload a chapter Thursday because I have schoolwork that'll probably need to be made up if I don't. And I'll be gone most of the day. But we'll be back earlier than usual because my sister will have dance. So comment, like, subscribe, bye, and thank you for watching.